Hello everyone, and back to another one of the Pokegirl series. This is Genovis going through Procreate on the iPad Pro. This one is Squrmi 007. As you can see, it's kind of based off the Squirtle model. You kind of see how I used that to make a frame of reference to actually do the illustration here in just a second. There's kind of the overview of it. We'll look at that again at the end. And here's the time-lapse video from Procreate. Not sure why I went with a red background to start with. I think I might have accidentally just had it selected to begin with and just went with it. Here you can see me laying down the blue lines like I did in one of my other videos, kind of referencing back to how I used to do it on paper with the non-photo blue. More of a mental thing rather than actual, meaning anything. Laying down my framework. I was going to have her leaning over and I was thinking, well, Squirtle has a shell, but this is a girl. How am I going to do the shell? So I really made it not realistic at all, because obviously the shell wouldn't bulge out as I'm going to do here in just a minute. At this point I was still kind of debating in my head, and I was like, oh, can I do a little one there and that way? But you'll kind of see how it plays out at the end, how the shell kind of works in. Like I make just darker lines showing where this frame of it is and where I'm going to end up with some of the final lines. And then I figured I'd have, a squirrel, so I'd have it climbing out of a pool. I threw in some basic just hair lines in there to show where the hair is coming down. I wanted it to kind of look like it was slicked back and wet, like she's coming out of the pool. And I'm laying some of the basic structure lines down for the actual shell costume part of it. I guess it's not really a costume because this is actually a Pokegirl, so part of her, I guess. Again, still just laying down the basic lines. I had an idea of what I wanted at this point, kind of the pose in the background, and kind of coming out of the edge of a pool. Have some water done. I haven't really played around with any of the water effects on Procreate, so you'll see when we get there I didn't really do a whole lot with it. Probably could have done a lot more, especially now looking back. I know some things I would have done differently, but it's a learning process. Still pretty new to the whole digital side of it. And there I created a new layer, lowered the opacity on the last layer so I could just kind of get some lines down. And here I go in with some of the actual pencil work for it, trying to figure out how I want it to look and do some of just the line work of it. I believe for this one I was using the technical pencil. I think that's what I have with a black setting. In my later art, a lot of it I'll do with not a black setting, so it looks actually more like a pencil, because you don't really draw with a black pencil. It's more of a dark charcoal gray. So you'll notice that kind of change as the upcoming videos come. And just laying in more hair work. It can be tedious. Depends on how you want to do your hair. You can do the comic book hair with the lines and a lot of blacks and just the highlights in. And the good thing about Procreate is you could just put the blacks in and then erase with the highlights. That's a lot different than what you'd have to do on actual traditional pen and pad, unless you like using whiteout, which a lot of artists do great with. But some people don't like using it at all. Doing some of the shell work there, trying to figure out how it would kind of lay across her. Probably should have tilted that back a little bit more because the shell looks like it's cut into the top of her arm now that I'm looking at it through the video. But, when you're doing it, you don't always see it that way. Maybe it goes back and over. I don't know. Her hair's covering it. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure what I was doing there with that other line. Maybe I was comparing something. I don't know. Don't remember. Still getting some of the basic line framework in. Getting the shell back there. Trying to figure out how I wanted the shell to lay on it. throw little lines in there just to show, hey, that's different texture. And it has some shade lines through the stomach area. Figured as far as down as I needed to go because the rest is going to kind of be underwater the way I was going to do it. I could have did some reflection work in here, but I don't think I ever actually pulled, went for that much into it. Getting the tail wrapped around, touching up the neck a little bit into the shoulder, and I just moved on to the background. That's the good thing. I mean, you just move on to whatever you want to move on to. I think I might have actually looked up palm tree. Make sure I had the kind of a leaf shape. That's how it's supposed to be. Because you have in your head how palm trees look, and then you actually draw them, and you're like, that looks kind of funny, and you realize that you didn't draw them like palm trees. Some basic work, finishing out some of the hands and how I wanted them. I got more of the more Pokemon type fingers, a little pointed kind of deal. Figured that would fit best with it. There I did some straight lines on Procreate. You can just, pull the line over and hold your pencil down, and then it creates a straight line from your start and finish point. And I'm pretty sure that's how I did all those lines there. Old school traditional way, we just pull out the ruler. Same difference. And here I go working into some of the trees and coloring. You can see how I was trying to fill them in with black a couple times there and it didn't work out. And in that section, I actually selected pieces of the line work and changed the color of them. So I changed one to blue, a little bit of a shell color, darker shell color, chest shell, and did it that way. And that way the outline colors of it could be, just darker colors of it. Kind of reminded me of some of the stuff I used to do when I was very little with crayons. You do the outline of one color and, color in the rest. But I like the effect it looked, but at the end you'll see I kind of play around with just putting the black lines back on it. And I just went with the dark blue hair here. And then getting some of that shell color worked in. And I just did the outlines and just pulled and filled, grabbed the color and pulled it down and released it. I did the same thing through here. Now most of these colors are on a different layer. That way if I need to change them, I could just go in and change them if I need to. Now you see me finishing out the back of the shell work there. Just filled in some blue with the water. I wasn't going to go too extreme on the water here because I didn't want it to... Well, honestly, I just didn't feel like getting into the water effects with this particular piece. I can get into those and some other pieces and play around with some of those. There, just getting a background in there. I think I just used the spray tool, the airbrush tool. Same thing there, just getting some of it a little darker through there. Using the airbrush tool, and then I removed the shadows. I'm not sure why I took all the shadows out there. Don't think I even meant to do that. Just meant to lower the opacity on them to kind of give the effect. I might bring that back later. I'm not even 100% sure. I don't remember. Here I'm showing kind of just a light coming down. More of a cast light around her. And then a little bit darker. I just went with like the 3 color. Light, middle, dark. Kind of just to show depth with it. Same thing for the section there. And there I went and added in some drops of water, or hopefully resembling some drops of water coming off. Yeah, you saw the mistake there hanging off the turtle breast. So then I had that, got on a little bit color, actually went a little bit bluer with the color, and there you can see I added the black lines back in. All I did was just turn that layer back on. And that is it. Here's kind of a top and bottom view as it scrolls down. You can kind of see how it played out. And as always, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Several more videos to come that are already done. I just got to do the audios for. Thank you guys. See you next time.